You know you're gonna see the best of the worst with the shit flick critic. You know you're gonna see shit that's absurd with the shit flick critic. From Birdemic, The Room, Samurai Cop, Troll 2, Man, I'll sense of fame, my only connection to. So come along, see the worst with me, I'm the shit flick critic.
G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of the Shit Flick Critic. I'm your host Andrew Lewis, and this episode, boy, do I have a real treat for you. Now this film is special, as it's not just any shit film, but the shittest film I've reviewed so far.
The Room, although a mind-numbing plot, was at least visually pleasant to behold. And Samurai Cop, with its production mishaps, was still somewhat an action movie. But this next film is flawed in about every aspect of its creation and has no redeeming qualities. I speak, of course, of Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
This morning, flocks of seagulls and crows were found dead in downtown San Jose.
These birds are contaminated.
What's with this weather? A heat wave in winter?
Why would birds do something like that? Why would they just attack?
I don't know.
This is Birdemic. Who will survive?
Released in 2010, Birdemic Shock and Terror was written and directed by Vietnamese-born James Nguyen by Jimmy here.
Birdemic has been cited as possibly the worst film ever made, and currently holds an IMDb rating of 1.8 stars. And why, you ask? Well, how about this?
Or this! Or even this!
The entire production of Birdemic took James 4 years to complete, mostly due to budget limitations and only being able to film on weekends.
The film ended up costing James $10,000, most of which was self-financed through his day job as a software salesman.
Which, and I can't stress this enough, he shouldn't quit.
James apparently got the inspiration for the film after watching Alfred Hitchcock's Birds and An Inconvenient Truth and thought, hey, I know, why don't I make a movie combining elements of both, only shit? And power to him, he did just that.
He really should have called it An Inconvenient Turd, you know, because of birds and truth.
Even though he has said that he was inspired by An Inconvenient Truth, James still maintains that there is no underlying environmental message in the film and has said, and I quote, "I did not make Birdemic to send a message to the audience. If I wanted to do that, I would have used a post office."
Really?
Heat wave?
Solar power, plug-in hybrid, solar panel, global warming, fossil fuels, global warming, fossil fuel, global warming,
Dry drought weather, dry climate and global warming, dry climate and global warming.
It would appear by looking at the credits that there were numerous people that worked on Birdemic, but according to Bonnie Steiger, a woman who plays one of the ill-fated passengers on the bus, this is not the case. On her website, she claims that James made up all of those people just to make the film look more professional, and that James was the only person present throughout her entire involvement in the film. Whitney Moore, the lead actress, even had to step in as makeup artist after the first two quit early in production. She has also said that even though Daniel Myers listed as cinematographer,
Hi, Danny.
James was the only person operating the camera. According to the trailer, James refers to himself as the master of the romantic thriller. And yes, this is a romantic thriller, but not like movies such as Casablanca or Vertigo, where it's a thriller with elements of romance equally distributed within. This movie is literally half romance, then half thriller. The first half consists solely of a romantic plot between an aspiring model and the world's most boring software salesman.
I work at a startup company called NCT Software. Got this stock option. Hopefully, if the company makes it big by being bought out or goes public, I'll exercise that stock option, cash out, and walk away with tons of cash. My Silicon Valley dream.
Even his own friends find him boring.
Thinking about opening up a green tech company.
The only clue we get that anything is going awry is from the poorly executed news reports that Rod watches from home, presented by a woman who appears to be standing in a hole in the floor.
And is it just me, or does she constantly look pissed off like I stole her boyfriend or something?
I'll never forgive you for stealing Brandon. The first half seems to resolve itself with the two main characters having some undie-on-undie action. Then, 47 minutes in, after a series of completely silent shots of scenery, it begins. That is seriously how abruptly the birds attack. shifting the gears from a romance into a film about a 90s screensaver out to take over the world.
In fact, I think my dad had that same screensaver when I was a kid. It's on with the toast, right?
The effects for this movie were apparently created by some university students that James hired.
And yes, the animation for the birds may be bad, but just wait till you hear them. It almost feels like two completely separate movies, as none of the events in the first half have any effect on the second.
Rod becomes a millionaire but bitches and moans over the price of petrol. Natalie frequently talks to her mother, who is never even mentioned again after the birds attack.
What this movie needs is some skills or items that are introduced in the first half and pay off in the second. Like, maybe Bland Man has shooting lessons, or Bland Man talks about not wanting kids, but after spending time with these two changes his mind.
I'm hungry. Me too, I'm hungry. Look, I want Happy Meal.
Or maybe not.
Another way the two halves are separate is normally a film is divided into 3 acts.
The first is to set up the characters and the plot, the second is to create conflict and obstacles, and the third is to resolve them. Now, I'm not saying that all films should use this formula, it's just a guide. But this film only has 2 acts. The first, where everything goes 100% right for all the characters all the time.
I got a job with Victoria's Secret.
No way!
You've all earned your stock option. Congratulations.
We're gonna fund you.
Awesome.
Everything's going so well!
And then a second act, where everything constantly goes to shit and everyone dies. This film was obviously made using a handheld home camera, with a lot of the settings left on auto, made most obvious by the shots that are either completely overexposed or out of focus. Aside from the few poorly executed dolly and crane shots, the most frequent and awful camera movements are the pans, worst of which when they're trying to follow cars. For some reason, James feels it necessary to show the entire journey of how someone got from one place to another.
It's almost like James thinks that if he is a character at one location, then suddenly at another, the audience will say, "What? I'm confused. How did he get there? Either show me the entire journey, including where and how he got his petrol, or I want my money back."
Sometimes I even feel like I'm stuck in some sort of traffic jam simulator.
Another thing that drives me insane while characters are traversing from one place to another is their constant need to say, "Hey, X, let's Y."
Hey, there's dead people on the side of the road. Let's go see if there's any survivors.
Hey, the kids are getting hungry. We should stop by and get some food for them.
Hey, those people on that bus are being attacked by those birds. Let's go save them.
Although the cinematography is terrible beyond words, the audio is the real star of this shitfest. Hello?
Here is the menu.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with you.
Whoever edited this didn't even take one glance at the audio tracks, as the audio frequently cuts out.
What do you do?
I'm a fashion model. Well, it was nice talking to you.
I've heard of awkward silences, but this is ridiculous.
The last 2 movies I reviewed seem to have a similarity in that the dubbing in them was terrible.
I'm tired, I'm wasted.
Well, just a little, isn't it, with him?
The issue with this movie is the sheer lack of dubbing when it's clearly needed. Even the final last triumphant line of the movie is lost in the background noise.
Sorry? Sorry? Yeah.
The problem with onboard mics is that they're omnidirectional, meaning it records sounds from every direction, which works fine indoors, but outdoors can be a problem.
I'm a scientist.
And the closer you are to the camera, the better.
Watch Tony while he sleeps, okay?
There is no better scene which beautifully demonstrates poor audio editing than the infamous boardroom scene. Rod is at a staff meeting at his work when the CEO of his company breaks the good news that their company's been purchased
For $1 billion!
Everyone then celebrates the news by repetitively forcing their open hands together to produce a noise, also known as clapping. But then something magical happens.
You guys have worked hard and you've all earned your stock option. Congratulations!
the meeting's adjourned.
There's obviously multiple things going wrong with this scene. Firstly, well, we all know what that means, boys and girls. That means it's time for the shittest scene ever awards. And the nominees are the rooftop scene, the room, the nurse scene, Samurai Cop, the popcorn scene, Troll 2, and the boardroom scene from Birdemic, Shock and Terror. And the winner is... Thank you, Dolores. It's the boardroom scene from Birdemic, Shock and Terror. Congratulations. Now, well done. Seriously. No, that's great. You did it. You did it. Amazing. Really good work, right? Congratulations. Very, very happy. Well done. Normally in my reviews I have a segment called The Acting, but in regards to this film I find absolutely no evidence of any acting occurring.
I just got tired of all the fucking killing in Iraq.
So now, let's talk about people talking at the camera and stuff.
As far as the leading man is concerned, I've never known an actor whose surname so beautifully sums up his on-screen personality. Alan Bird.
Yeah, I earned it. All those big deals I did with NCT, and millions of dollars of revenues and sales. I am very passionate about my career.
You sure sound it. Alan shows absolutely no emotion at all throughout the entire film. And if someone halfway through replaced him with a plank of wood with his face drawn on it, I'm sure no one would have noticed. James obviously based the character of Rod on himself, as they are both software salesmen. And it worries me what kind of salesman James is if Rod is anything to go by.
Okay, I'll give you that and 50% discount. Caught the big fish.
Yeah? How big was the sale?
$1 million.
I'm sorry, you just made a sale of $1 million at a 50% discount? So you just threw away another $1 million to make a sale? That's not salesmanship, that's just lowering the price so low that they have to say yes.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
It also worries me what James thinks is appropriate behaviour when wooing a lady. Things like staring, following, touching, saying creepy things.
I think you'll look great in those lingerie.
The only reason why Rod gets Natalie's number in the first place is because the script says so. Behaving the way he does in real life would likely get him arrested with a restraining order. Believe me, I know.
The thing about Whitney Moore is she is probably the worst... Sorry. She would have to be the most... She's great.
It seems pretty apparent by the end of the film that she's really just going along for the ride, even giggling sometimes at the sheer ridiculousness of the film. James even lets a shot run on too long and we get to see her what the fuck have I gotten myself into face. And she loves Alan. Danny Webber and Mona Lisa Moon play the couple of Rick, a sex-loving borderline male chauvinist,
Chicks love cars.
and Mai, his bikini-clad girlfriend, who has a very strange voice.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes? What does it sound like I'm doing?
Talking on the phone?
Apparently the reason why Mai is wearing a bikini in the bedroom scene is that James thought it would prevent the actors from actually having sex with each other.
I actually think it's quite funny, because Rick goes on and on about sex, but then in the bedroom he looks too scared to take his shorts off.
We also learn in this scene that both of them just so happen to be best friends with Rod and Natalie the whole time.
I know your girlfriend, Natalie. She's my girlfriend's best friend.
Huh. Small world.
Yeah.
I'd call it more of a contrived coincidence.
My favourite character in the movie is the tree hugger character that Rod, Natalie and the kids meet in the forest. It seems his only purpose in the film is to give exposition about the state of the forest due to global warming. But what really confuses me is not at one point does either Rod or Natalie suspect that he might be a serial killer / rapist, because he lives in a forest. He's clearly wearing a wig as a disguise. He eagerly invites the kids to his house, and the house is clearly a rape lair if I ever saw one, filled with the severed heads of his victims, no doubt. Then again, I suppose the kids aren't any safer with Rod.
As mentioned earlier, what am I doing? As mentioned earlier, Birdemic is probably the shittest film I've ever seen and ticks every shitty box. Now I judge movies based on 5 categories. Number 1, laughability. Birdemic is hilarious and there's more than enough ridiculousness to warrant a good time. Number 2, rewatchability. This movie is definitely worth watching again as there's always something new to laugh at. 3, pace. This movie is so slow and even after the birds attack it doesn't get much better. Number 4, production value. And number 5, intention. Although part of me admires James for getting off his bum and trying to make a movie people would enjoy, I still don't like the way he shoehorns all that green Aesop into the film. I give Birdemic -4 stars, and I think it will live on as a textbook terrible film. I did give James an extra half a star for giving me a cameo in that bar scene. It wasn't a big part, but it's another film on my resume. Well, thanks for joining me on another episode of the Shit Flick Critic. I should have my next review up within the next couple months. And I do have a question for you all. If you guys do feel like there's too much of a gap in between these videos, because they do take me quite some time to make, what I briefly considered doing with this video was splitting it into 2 parts, having them both about 10 minutes each, and I would upload the first part a lot sooner than I have the whole thing. So if you guys feel like that's a good idea, let me know and I'll give it a go with my next video. Other than that, if you want to watch the other videos I've made, I should be able to put them here. There's one there and one there. And other than that, see you later.